opponent draws a card and concedes, and that is the game. Nice. Welcome everyone, thanks for joining me today for my very last draft of Aetherdrift. I'm Nico, aka Another MTG, trying to make the magic happen. So without further ado, let's draft. So this is my very last draft of Aetherdrift. I've had a ton of fun playing this set, but I'm looking very much forward to playing Tarkir Dragonstorm. Can't wait for that set as well. So let's just hope we can make a very good very good last draft deck worthy of my last draft. So River Churn Monument, sure. Other than that, we have Diversion Unit, Hellish Sideswipe, Apocalypse Runner. So I think, you know, River Churn Monument can win. It's not a guaranteed thing. I've been milled out a couple of times by this card. You can play 1 to mill, make a player mill 2 cards, and 4 to make someone mill cards equal to the number of cards in their graveyard. And other than that, we have an Apocalypse Runner, some decent cards here. So I think best card is River Churn Monument, but I'm not gonna fall in love with that card too much. So let's just see what else is coming our way. That is a Perilous Snare. I don't really know if I want to end up splashing white in my very last draft, because white is such a shitty card, but these are 3 of the best white removal spells there in the set in one pack, which is kind of crazy. So I think if I end up in some Esper Artifacts idea, not taking the Perilous Snare is just too insane. So still not fixing on something yet. Here we have OVR, which I don't really love, because I think the card is just mediocre. If you, at the point you were able to cast OVR, you're able to cast any other cards in your hand as well. The Ranger's Refueler would just be a very good follow-up for those 3 cards. So it might end up in blue and white artifacts. But also here's a Run Over, which is a very solid green removal spell. But no, really, other than that, I didn't see that many good playable green cards. So let's just take the Ranger's Refueler here over the Aetherdrift Ashore and see what else is coming my way. Here we have a Skyseer's Chariot, which I think is just not good enough in draft. It just doesn't make sense to draft this card. Other than that, we have some mediocre white cards. We have Fuel the Flames, dealing 2 damage to each creature. And we have a Deathless Pilot, a Trip Up, and a Spectral Interference. I think Spectral Interference might just be the best card here. Better than Trip Up, I don't really know. That at least is cyclable, and that in the late game, it just doesn't make sense. But let's just still take the Spectral Interference here. So now we have Grimbauble, and that is the second Grimbauble coming my way. We have a Collision Course and a Guidelight Optimizer. I think that would just fit into the whole artifacts thing so far. But looking at this, we don't have any creatures so far, just vehicles, mill cards. Hazard of the Dunes is a very playable card. Let's just maybe take that and see if we might end up in some green white deck, whatever. Here we have a Guidelight Synergist, and to be honest, that is a good follow-up. We have a lot of artifacts, and there's also Gibrick Omnivore, but I'll take the Guidelight Synergist over the other card here. So what is the next thing coming our way? Pactal Terror, and I think, to be honest, it's a good follow-up. I didn't want to do like Thundering Broodwagon. Pick number 7 is also a crystal clear sign on something. But I haven't seen that many good black cards coming my way, and also not that many good green cards. So maybe just take the Pactal Terror, because that would fit whatever we are doing here. And here we have a starting column that can work, I guess. Also a Broadcast Rambler, probably the better card here. Probably the better card. So now let's move on to pick number 8. So I can see myself, I don't love it, but I can see myself playing some Esper artifacts. Maybe blue and white and black on the splash, just for. And here, what's the take here? I don't love the Roadside Assistant. I think it's okay-ish. Light Wheel Enhancement's just not that good as well. Hellish Sideweb's Oil Gorger is fine. I think it's a solid card. I think it's the best card. Just take the Oil Gorger. Here we have Trip Up versus Kickoff Celebrations. So also as Oil Gorger being wheeled here, and here Kickoff Celebration might be also a very, very good sign for Rakdos being open. So do I want to try to go into that, or just stick to my start here with the blue and white artifacts? I hate to play white, to be honest. Skybox Fairy or Spot Cycle Scouter. I think if we end up in white, Scrying is okay, probably better. Here we have a Spell Pierce, which I don't love. So, okay. What else is here? Pyrowood Gearhulk. Yeah, no, don't think so. I don't think so, to be honest. Another Pactal Terror. And I see myself playing that. Also, here are some good green cards, but the Pactal Terror with the second one, with all the other artifacts, is just way too powerful to pass on. So let's just take the Pactal Terror. Let's and here we have a really solid pack. So now it's Wreckage Wickerfolk or Spin Out or Bounce Off. I think, you know, if we end up in the artifacts, we just might take the Wreckage Wickerfolk. But Spin Out, we have no other than the Perilous Snare. We don't really have removal spells. So I don't really know if I want to play that card. I don't really know. So Spin Out would be a very, very solid pick as well. Let's just take the Spin Out because we need removal. And here we have another Spin Out. So definitely playing black just for the Spin Out. And here we have Grim Bauble, Dismal Backwater, Bounce Off, lots of very good cards. Wickerfolk Indomitable also good, but I think what's the best pick? What does the deck need? Probably Grim Bauble, just because of the artifact synergies. Let's take the Grim Bauble, putting that Hazard of the Dunes away here. So now a third Spin Out. Do I feel prepared? And there's also a pick 5 run over. Very, very late run over here. But that Spin Out is just speaking to me, whispering to me, Nico, take me. And I will take it over the other cards here. Just so having 3 Spin Outs is a very heavy reason to play black. I'm going to splash. I think white is just the color we're gonna splash. Oil Gorger is just a maybe thing here. Other than that, so we are black and blue with a splash of white, just to see what how this will work out. Here I'll take a Carrion Cruiser, I guess. Is it better than the Gearseeker Serpent? Don't really think so. That's double blue. There's also Shafted Archfiend, which doesn't fit my strategy here. When this enters mill 2 cards, then return a creature or vehicle from your graveyard to your hand. It's just fine, and it's a 3-mana 3/2, but the artifacts affinity thing is just too good. So now we need some Spikeshell Harrier coming our way, or some other things like that. Nobody's playing red here. I guess Gravestalker or Slick Imitator, max speed. I can sack this creature. and copy target spell, which can be a very, very good ability, I think. But do I really want that over the Greystalker? Both are like kind of mediocre, but 2-drop is fine, I guess. And here another Carrion Cruiser. Do I want that? This time take it. And that's a pick 8 Migrating Catrodon. Kind of crazy as well. Still, my synergy so far just screams artifacts. Taking the Carrion Cruiser here. Moving on. And that Nesting Bot just got tabled. I think it's fine. I think like we are black and blue, so it being that, yeah, taking it on a splash, sure, why not? Why not? I think that's fine. And that is blue and white, just exactly what we want for our deck. Taking that, everybody moved out of green here. Roadside Assistance, is it okay? It makes a pilot but no artifact. It gives lifelink, so maybe, I guess. Okay, here, Dismal Backwater, sure, I will take it gladly. And here, I want to trip up, maybe I'll play it, Maximum Overdrive, taking that as well. So now we have Thundering Broodwagon, not gonna take that. Wreckage Wickerfolk, just probably the most solid pick for me. We have good removal spells. We have the Grim Bauble, Trip Up, we have the Spin Out. So far it's looking actually good. I don't want to play that. So the Wreckage Wickerfolk is just the best card for me out of this pack, or do I want to go more affinity? But you know what? I think Wreckage Wickerfolk just for the win. Because of the Surveil ability, enters the battlefield, that's just good. And the Gearseeker Serpent is really strong, can end games, but sure, you know what? I'll I just wanted to switch my decision, but I'm not as fast as my timer here. Voyage Home, do I want that? I don't really know. Camera Launcher is okay, but I think Voyage Home is just fine. We are splashing white, definitely for the Synergist, for the Perilous Snare. Not for the Roadside Assistant, but we are splashing it, so let's just give it a shot here. And here we have a Catramos, not taking that card. Other than that, we have the Sabotage Strategist, which I think is a very fine card, giving all my opponent's creatures -1/-0 until end of turn when they are attacking. And other than that, we have Mutant Surveyor, which I do think is really good. Also Skystreak Engineer, but looking at my curve, many 2-drops here. Not sure if I want to play that. Not sure if I want to play that. So let's still take the Sabotage Strategist. It's just too good to pass. And here's another Wickerfolk Indomitable and a Nesting Bot. So I think what's to take? Probably so I think, you know, we have that is fine removal spell. That is a fine removal spell. That just fits here. Maybe not play the Trip Up. Perilous Snare is just really good. Nesting Bot, maybe I don't need that here. So Ripclaw Wrangler, making opponents discard a card, or just have the Nesting Bot. Having another Guidelight Synergist coming my way is just a really good feeling here. Nesting Bot. So Carrion Cruiser doesn't fit the strategy that much. Midnight Mangler is okay. For me, probably the best card out of the pack here. So let's just take that. And here's another Nesting Bot, Midnight Mangler. Do I really want to take something like this now? I think Nesting Bot can just... It's an artifact for 1, fitting in... or do I take the Midnight Mangler? I just prefer the creature over the vehicle, to be honest. Spectral Interference, I have 2 of those already. think I'm going to pass. Starting column makes me add a mana of any color, and I think that's probably good, especially with that deck. Gear Seeker Serpent, I'll take it. And here we have a Bounce Off, which I'll gladly take because I think it's just a very cheap interactive spell, and green was kind of very, very open in the end. Still, taking that out of the pack here, putting it in my sideboard. So we have 27 cards. 2 of them being lands here, and another Spectral Interference. Can just counter everything our opponent does. Let's play the artifact, I guess. More artifact synergy. And that's a Spell Pierce. Let's just have a short look at this deck. Sabotage Strategist just doesn't fit the strategy, and it's double blue. Ripclaw Wrangler just not good enough. And let's just play 2 Nesting Bots. So that's it, I think looking good. 2 Nesting Bots, a Bounce Off, Grim Bauble, Midnight Mangler, Ranger's Refueler, River Churn, Monument, Spectral Interference, Wreckage Wicked Folk, Perilous Snare, 3 Spinouts, a Starting Column, 2 Guidelight Synergist, 2 Pactal Terror, 1 Broadcast Rambler, 2 Gear Seeker Serpent, a Voyage Home. Let's give it a shot. So, yeah, keep the hand. I can cast this creature on turn 4. Still, it feels like a keep hand, to be honest. Can't really say why, but it feels like a keep hand. Maybe just interfere with my opponent here fast enough with the Spectral Interference, or just River Churn Monument. I don't have a like. Yeah, let's just play it. I don't have a second black mana source to cast that spin out, but I am happy to sink all my mana I don't need in the River Churn Monument. Let's just now play that Tranquil Cove so far and pass the turn. Opponent draws a card. They play the Draconautics Engineer, and passing to attackers, I will pass to blockers. No blocks, taking 2 damage. Opponent wants to cast a Magmakin Artillerist. They are the cycling deck, so I think just I should just counter it. Maybe I should have done it the other way around, but you know, just win sometime is very good. Playing that Pactal Terror here, pinging my opponent for 1, gaining a life, and passing the turn. Opponent draws a card, plays a Swiftwater Cliffs and a Keen Buccaneer. That is the one that can be exhausted for drawing a card, discarding a card, and putting a +1/+1 counter on it. So let's just mill my opponent for 2. And yeah, submit 1 enemy here. They make them mill 2 and not attacking with my Pactal Terror. I desperately need a second black mana source. Marauding Macaw, sure. Having all the payoffs of the cycling deck, drawing a card, discarding a card, putting a counter on Marauding Macaw and Keen Buccaneer. Still not strong enough. Ooh, they are attacking. I'm calling the bluff. Hopefully it's a bluff. Oh, they have that first strike spell. No, they don't have it, or at least it's not worth them. Oh, they lightning striking my Pactal Terror. Kinda sucks, but I can live with that. Okay, so I can now cast that mana, and I will spin out the Draconautics Engineer just before they create a dragon off of that, and I will mill my opponent for 2 here, submitting that. Now there are 22 cards in their graveyard. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 8 cards in their graveyard, 22 in their hand, and 22 in their library. Pit Automation. Attacking for 5. I'll take the 5. I drew a land. I need to spin out something. Not yet. Just playing the plains and just exhausting that to make my opponent mill at least 8 cards. So next turn I will be able to cast the spin out. If they are casting a bigger threat than the Keen Buccaneer, I'll take the 5 damage. I have a feeling they might cast something bigger or whatever. Still, okay, then I will destroy the Keen Buccaneer now. That is fine. Let's just hope they don't have a counter here. Okay, that is good for me. Okay, let's River Churn Monument. Oh, I can only use exhaust abilities once. And that's the problem when you never play the card. If to really get to know it is you must have used it yourself. At least that applies to me. That applies to me for sure. So now I'm here having a lot of lands, but no creatures. Nothing, just drawing lands, making my opponent mill a little bit more. It's just fine here. 19 cards, still 10 cards. Maybe I'm not gonna be able 8 cards here. Let's just pass the turn. They can go in for 2 damage. I can make them mill 2 cards. Yeah, okay. So playing the Ranger's Refueler, that I can make that a creature. That's now a 4/4. I draw a card. Skylight Synergist, sure. And now I can just make my opponent mill for 1. And they have 5 cards in their library. Think maybe I can get through with that. Broadside Barrage, sure. Don't love it. Draw a card, then discard a card, so they have 4. So if they're not able to kill me within 2 turns, then I guess they're dead. Opponent attacks for 3 damage. So I can just make them... Okay, I can make them mill. And do I want to play that Gearseeker Serpent just because it's a 5/6? Sure, it's a bigger thing here. Not as easy to remove. And playing the island. Playing the Guidelight Synergist as well. And now I have a good feeling that I am somehow prepared for whatever might come. Let's just see. Opponent draws their last card, the last card of their library. If I just have done it the other way around, it wouldn't have been that exciting. Destroying my Gearseeker Serpent, sure. And do they have something I need to block? Need to block that Marauding Macaw. And that's it. Nice. River Churn Monument. Good, mana-wise looking okay. Other than that, the hand is not really exciting. Still, I'll keep it. Just because I think if I'll draw a land, if I draw a 2-drop, it can work out here. Gaining a life, passing the turn, opponent draws a card, plays a Rugged Highland, gains a life. And I'll play the Dismal Backwater, play the Nesting Bot, and pass the turn. Opponent draws a card. And the opponent plays Swamp, followed by Broodheart Engine, sure. Okay, we drew a land. What's the thing to do here? Ranger's Refueler, Broadcast Rambler, Perilous Snare. Like, I think just attack. Let's just attack. Let's just play the Ranger's Refueler here. And pass the turn. Opponent surveils 1. If you do like the stuff I'm doing, you can show some love by hitting that like or subscribe button down below. It helps me out a lot to continue making more videos like this. I'd appreciate it. So now I have used that time window. Oh, I love that artwork. I love pyramids and triangles. So that and lotuses. So this is a cool artwork. I haven't seen that actually. Those cards. Everyone plays those fancy cards. Okay, so I'm not able to cast the Pact of Terror. Kind of sucks. Don't really want to use my spin out on the pothole mole. So I think I'll just have to maybe I'll just bluff. They're gonna take the damage probably. Oh no, they smelt the... Die haben den Braten gerochen, you would say in German. They smelt the food is smelly. I can kind of like, I think braten is brisket. I'm not sure. I think brisket is some very special kind of dish. You let me know let me know what a brisket is if you know. I will look it up later. What's braten means? I mean, it's some dish with meat. Anyway, and there's a saying in German that says den Braten riechen, which means to smell something's fishy. You know, something is fishy, and they knew something was fishy about my attack. So let's just spin out the Mutant Severe before that becomes annoying, I guess. Opponent passes the turn. We have a Spectral Interference, which I think is kind of okay here. Passing the turn, I don't love doing that. Definitely could use another land here to cast my Pact of Terror and all that other artifact stuff that I have going on in my hand. So, opponent surveilled the swamp into their graveyard, and they are considering their next move. So they are... Okay, I can make that an artifact. Passing to attackers. 2 damage, I'll take it, sure. Pass to blockers, no blocks. And opponent tries to cast something. Please cast something. I want to counter Mold Tender. No, I'm not gonna counter that. Okay, sacrificing this, returning the Earth Rumbler, sure. So now I have at least something I can spin out here, which is kind of good. Because I'm not afraid of the Mold Tender, but I am afraid of that Earth Rumbler. Now we found the 4th land and playing the Pact of Terror. Gaining a life, and at 3 speed, I can crew that Ranger's Refueler now with that Pact of Terror and attack with my things here. Opponent blocks my artifact servo 1 with their Mold Tender. I think that's a fair trade. Okay, decided not to block. Opponent goes down to 16 life and draws a card. It's their turn. We still have that Perilous Snare, which I love. And if we draw another land, we can just cast that Broadcast Rambler, which I also love, which is going to trigger the Pact of Terror twice. If we draw another Pact of Terror, it's also fine. If we draw the Optimizer, that's also fine. So we can just Perilous Snare that Thunderhead Gunner, I guess. Because that's an annoying creature that makes them look through their library, draw a card, discarding lands. And I think I don't want that, so let's just Perilous Snare their Thunderhead Gunner here. Okay, they are at 3 speed as well. So I'll play the Perilous Snare. I'll take the Thunderhead Gunner. And I gain a life. I am at maximum speed. I can crew that for... with that cruise... If that doesn't crew, it's the pilots that crew as if they were bigger. Doesn't matter. Ranger's Refueler, attack with that here. Attack with my 1/1 as well. If they want to block with their Walking Sarcophagus, that's a trade I will make. And now I am passing the turn. Because I don't have a Haunt the Network, I can just put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or vehicle. Oh, only as a sorcery. So if I had read that beforehand, I could just make my Pact of Terror a little bit bigger. But that's okay. You learn from those things. If we draw a card, a land, we're gonna cast that Broadcast Rambler. If not, I'm going to cast that Midnight Mangler. And see what else. My opponent does have the Scrap Compactor, which kind of sucks now because they are able to okay, I can, so what's the play? Do I bounce off that? It's not a vehicle, it's not a creature. I can just play the Midnight Mangler, I guess. Pinging for 1 and gaining a life. Then I can crew the Ranger's Refueler, sure. Why not? And then I can attack with that Ranger's Refueler for 3 damage. Opponent tough spot here. Do they want to kill my Refueler? I think it's a good card. I can make it a vehicle later. I have the bounce off, and if they cast something really annoying here, then okay, that's good. So now my Pact of Terror can still live here. Do I want to bounce off something, or do I want to put a +1/+1 counter on my creatures here? I do think that I want to do that, because I can, whatever they cast, I can bounce it off next turn, and then I can Spectral Interference it the turn after that, if it's something that's really annoying, I guess. And that is me passing to attackers. Opponent attacks for 2 with their Ether Jacket, sure. And that is 2 damage coming into my direction. Opponent also achieved maximum speed, and that is probably the end of their turn. Okay, sacrificing this creature, destroying another. Return target creature or vehicle to their hand. So I guess, sure, that is okay. And now I will bounce that Thunderhead Gunner to their hand. Just because it annoys me, and I want to Spectral Interfere with that next turn. So opponent now plays an Engine Red, sure, also annoying here. So we drew an island. Let's just play the island. Let's just so if I wait, yeah, I need to wait, because I'm not gonna attack here. I'll wait because I need to interfere with that Thunderhead Gunner being cast. Other than that, because if I don't, it's gonna be just brutal here. I cannot use that Thunderhead Gunner. So I definitely need to chill out, relax, take it easy, take it slow. Having some blockers here. Worst thing that can happen is I take a damage from that rat, but I'm not gonna. So that is them casting their Thunderhead Gunner, but I can counter it now, which I do love. Oh yeah, nice. So that is me being able to cast my Broadcast Rambler, gaining 2 life, pinging for 2, and do I want to attack now? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'll crew that for sure. Why not? Crew that and attack for 3 with the Midnight Mangler. So opponent's not gonna block with their Engine Rat. Are they blocking with something else. Yeah, they're blocking with their Pothole Mole, making sure it dies. So I'll just kill the Pothole Mole and passing the turn. Opponent draws a card. Opponent definitely can still turn things around if they have the right cards. Passing the turn. Okay, we're super good at drawing those lands. So do I just attack with the flyer up in the air? I guess just one for short damage. One short damage. Let's just go for that. And that is my opponent going down to 8 life. Oh, they can make me lose 2 life, sure. Don't love it. I don't love that. Okay, opponent draws a card. Opponent does play a... Oh, that's the highway. Does play a Pothole Mole. Sure, milling 3 cards, returning a land from their graveyard to the hand. Ooh, and that's 2 Pactal Terrors and the Broodheart Engine they milled. Which kind of hurts, I guess. Must hurt. So, Guidelight Synergist for the win. I want that. I want to be able to cast that. I will now also just... Yeah, I'll just attack with the Broadcast Rambler and make sure opponent is pressured here. Apply some pressure on the opponent. Sure, that's their engine red gone. They can still make me lose 2 life with that ability. Maximum Overdrive. Wow, that hurts my feelings. So Synergist is also gonna be just a 3/4 now. Still, that is 3, 4, 5. That's at least 4 damage I can deal if they don't remove any other thing. Ponti Network would have been great in that deck, but you know, 2 Synergists, 2 Pactal Terror just feels solid. The deck just feels solid. Perilous Snare and 3 Spinouts. I have a good feeling still that whatever I draw, just not a land would be great, and that can do some good things here now. So me having 20 life is definitely something that is reassuring, that is calming me. Let's just hope they trade the Greystalker for a land or something. We have the Spectral Interference, so if they have something big, I guess... Let's just attack with my flyers here for 4 damage. Opponent goes down to 3 life, and I will pass that turn. Opponent makes me lose 2 life, that is fine. I can live with that. Opponent draws a card and concedes, and that is the game. Nice. Okay, Nesting Bot, Serpent, Pactal Terror. I don't love it, but with that surveilling ability, I will be able to filter through the stuff that I don't need, find some land, so I will keep that hand. Play the planes, play the Nesting Bot, pass the turn not before starting my engines. Okay, opponent draws a card. Opponent plays a swamp. I drew a swamp as well. Let's just play the swamp. Ooh, and I needed to draw the swamp because that was something I didn't think about. You know, I will take that land and I will take that spin out. So attacking for 1 damage. Am at 2 speed now, passing the turn. Opponent draws a card, plays a Grim Bauble that kills my Nesting Bot, but that's okay. It makes a 1/1 servo token. Opponent plays another swamp, passing the turn. So we play the island. We just attack for 1, 2. That's our opponent going down to 17 life. We are at 4 speed and playing another Nesting Bot. So now, next turn I can cast a Pactal Terror, which I think is good, and I want that. And gaining a life and just attacking with my flyers here. That is my opponent going down to 15 life. Gearseeker Serpent is now castable if we find a second blue mana source. And wow, that just hurts my feelings. I guess I'll attack and hope they are blocking with that Mutant Surveyor here. That is my Grim Bauble, killing their Mutant Surveyor for good, which is fine and really necessary at that point. Opponent draws a card. Is my opponent mono black? No, they found a forest here. Playing that forest this late means they just drew it. It's just an assumption, but I think it might make sense. Elvish Refueler entering that battlefield. Let's just Perilous Snare the Elvish Refueler and attack for 3 more damage here. Oh my god, I always forget about that here. Let's just put a counter on my Wreckage Wickerfolk. That's fine and dandy. We need to find a black mana source or a blue mana source. That would be just amazing. So opponent draws a card and plays a Gibberick Omnivore. We have that spin out. We have all the stuff we need, but just not. Let's just put a counter on that, and let's just also... it's just tapping. I don't even need to pay anything. Okay, activate that ability. Surveilling 2, don't need that land now. 4, 5, not a white, especially just a blue counter spell, which is okay. Let's attack with the 3-5 and go in. Opponent is at 7 life, draws a card, plays a forest, and we need to find the land here. Definitely need to find that land. Or the Gearseeker Serpent just to get through next turn, but if we don't find a Stampeding Squarefoot, sure. I have 2 removal spells in my hand, which is kind of relieving for me at this point. I don't understand that attack here, but I can live with it. So another Spectral Interference. Oh no, not another one, but just the one we needed. Okay, that is my Wreckage Wickerfolk now being a 4-6. That is me attacking for my opponent for 6 damage. Opponent does exhaust their Squarefoot and blocks like this. Sure, I thought they didn't have enough mana to tap it. Just me being stupid, I guess. So we can counter any artifact or creature spell unless the opponent pays 4. We have that flyer that is strong enough to kill my opponent next turn. Will it happen or will it not happen? Let's just see. Okay, opponent sacks their Grim Bauble. That's a good sign. If they don't find a run over, yeah, nice. That is, as for artifacts, going in for the 3rd win. Alright, I'm very happy with that deck's performance so far. That is also not ideal, but still good. I think I will just slow down my opponent more than enough, so I can stall the board later on, find my Pactal Terrors and stuff here. So let's just play that island. Passing the turn, opponent plays an island followed by a Beast Rider Vanguard. Do I just want to bounce that? Sure, why not? Just gain some time because I don't have a 2-drop. Okay, found the Pactal Terror. Passing the turn, opponent draws a card and casts that Ranger's Aetherhive. I'll just Spectral Interfere with that. I don't want that here. So we drew a card and that's very fine. Tranquil Cove, gaining a life, passing the turn. Do we still want to Spectral Interfere with something? Yeah, second Ranger's Aetherhive. Sure, I'll Spectral Interfere again. That must hurt a little bit. Playing that Pactal Terror, gaining a life, pinging for 1, passing the turn. Opponent draws a card and plays a forest. Opponent plays a Fang Druid Summoner that searches their library for a creature card with no effects. That's a Tarian. I am happy that I have the spin out, but I'm not able to cast the spin out. So far, Do I want to attack? Like, I can give it a shot. Think they're gonna block and call my bluff, but didn't hurt me. Just gonna be 2 damage, I guess. I wouldn't have taken otherwise, but that Tarion is really starting to scare me now because I don't have anything to answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can cast it, Gear Seeker Serpent, but the Tarion is just very annoying. They don't want to cast it because I had so many spectral interferences here. So let's just play the Pactal Terror and follow up with that River Churn Monument, and that is gaining a life, pinging for 1, passing the turn. Opponent draws a card. Opponent will now most definitely, it's what I would do, I guess. They are casting their Tarion and they are attacking with that Spike Shell Harrier. I'm not blocking, taking 4 damage, going to 18 life, passing the turn. So we drew that starting column. We can do that here, and with the starting column we are able to spin out that Tarion, which I do love. Happy that I put that in my deck, spinning out the Tarion and making my opponent mill 2 cards for sure. That is them milling an Eldritch Refueler and a Venom Cyclogag. Love it. And no attacks, not at this point. So opponent draws a card, opponent plays a forest, attacks with that Spike Shell Harrier. No blocks, still no blocks here. Passing the turn or casting a Camera Launcher. Can exhaust it for 3. They are exhausting it, making a Thopter here. And we definitely could use some creatures here. Let's just cast a Gear Seeker Serpent. Let's just make the opponent mill for 1, I guess. 2 cards. That was a Pit Automation and an Island. No attacks, not at this point. Opponent draws a card. Opponent is... So we need, if we had a Haunting Network, that would just be insane. So we don't have one, I know it, but I didn't think I would draft an Artifacts deck again. But if it was clearly the most open deck. It was clearly a good thing with those payoff cards, Pactal Terror, and also the Guidelight Synergist. And the 3 spinouts, it feels good. Beast Rider Vanguard coming into play. Okay, Seat of Varma. Now that's starting to be a little annoying here. Opponent has 7 cards in their graveyard here. I gain a life at least, I guess. I can let this just not be blocked. And attack for 5. Opponent goes down to 12, I guess. But then I will lose a lot of life here next turn. So opponent goes down to 12. I have 15 life. They have a good amount of stuff. They will be milling 2 cards. That's okay. Opponent draws a card. I think I might not be able to turn that around just because they have such a big board state now. They could attack with that card all the time. They have the Seat of Armor now, which can make a lot of token. Oh, not tokens, but that's just game. Yeah, sure, that's fine. That is fair. All right. Think it's okay. Still don't love it. No black mana source here, and for the double black for the spin out is kinda not ideal, but you know, still very solid removal spell here. Playing the Midnight Mangler as an answer to their Engine Rat. It's not the best answer, but if they want to attack, I would block, I guess, just to get rid of that Engine Rat here. Opponent plays a Nesting Bot and does attack. I will trade, yeah. It's worth it, I think, playing that. Ooh, okay, so wow. Nothing really here, nothing too exciting. We need to draw a land for sure. Find a land. Ooh, that hurts my feelings. Wow. Whoa. Okay. Let's just stay calm. Stay calm. Opponent plays a plains. Opponent plays a Pactal Terror. Gaining a life, pinging for 1 is at 3 speed, attacking for 1. We drew the card. So, but no black mana, sure. Okay, still, Guidelight Synergist, fair enough. Strong enough as a flyer here. If we find another land, if we find a black mana source, I would love a black Gallant Strike, toughness 4 or greater, sure. And that is Gaston Raider coming into play. That is my spin out being gone. Don't love it. I want to keep on holding on to that. It doesn't work. Okay, wow, hurts my feelings here. So I guess I'll just pass the turn. Ouch. So opponent wants to cast something. I will bounce off the Pactal Terror in response, I guess. I'll bounce off the Pactal Terror here. Just to prevent the damage. That is 5 damage. Me going down to 8 life. Opponent casting that Pactal Terror again. Me just conceding. That was a fast loss here. Let's just hope for another win. That would be amazing. Okay, come on. It's my last draft. It's my last Aetherdrift draft. It's my last draft. Let me just win 1 or 2 or 3 more games. Perilous Snare, bounce off, Voyage Home, but all the mana. It's I'll mulligan. Wow, what a stupid thing to do. Shouldn't have done that. Okay. Hurts my feelings quite. Yeah, that's it, I guess. Stupid mulligan decisions here. Playing that Ranger's Refueler. Let's just find a swamp here. Find a swamp. Opponent plays a Ratchet Doll. No swamp. Playing the bounce off. I'll pass the turn. And that is me being sad. Me mulliganing a perfectly good 4 land hand just because of 4 lands. And bouncing that Ratchet Doll here. Opponent surveils off of that Ratchet Doll. Sure, I can live with that, but I am definitely pretty sad. Nothing to cast here for me, but I at least can make that a creature here. Drawing a card, sure. And attacking for 4. Opponent goes down to 17 life, draws a card, and plays a swamp. Attacks with their Slick Imitator, is at 2 speed, and casts a Rakish Wiccafolk, surveils for 2. And me not having a swamp is very, very, very annoying. Second Rakish Wiccafolk. Okay, not being able to cast that Pactal Terror does hurt my feelings pretty much. Okay, opponent goes down to 13 life and draws a card. Plays an island. Attacks for 3, 4, 5 damage. I am at 14 life and opponent plays a Hull Drifter, drawing 2 cards off of that. Passing the turn, at least a nesting bot. It's better than nothing, I guess. Attacking for 4 damage. Opponent is at 9 life. I am at 2 speed. Please let me find something. 3, 4, 5, 3, 6. That needs to be crewed for 3. So it's not the biggest threat at the moment. Opponent plays a Memory Guardian. Wow, that hurts. And they are... So if you find 1 black mana source, we can cast a Pactal Terror. If we find another one we can cast a spin on, but it's very unlikely. And looking at the board state of my opponent, this is just wow. That's my nesting bot gone here. That comes back at least, but you know, still very disappointing. I had 3 good wins and then 3 losses in a row. I will be able to, like, they can attack me for 6 damage. Let's just attack for 4. I'm not able to get that game here. Opponent just takes the damage, I guess. Okay, takes the damage, going down to 5 life. I am at 3 speed, passing the turn, not able to cast all the black cards in my hand. Opponent will crew their flyers here. I can just... that's not even an artifact. I cannot counter that. So that's the game. And that makes me sad, but it's okay. And that was, my friends, my very last Aetherdrift draft. I had a lot of fun playing the format. I liked it. It's for players who tend to think too fast or think not enough, like me. It can be a kind of annoying because with those big board states and those slow long games, things can take a long time, but still I had a ton of fun. I can't wait for Tarkir Dragonstorm. If you liked the video, you can show some love by hitting that like or subscribe down below. It really helps me grow, continue making more videos like this, and yeah, so I'd be grateful. I'd appreciate it a lot, and I wish you a nice day. See you the next time when it's time to draft.